Cinderella sweeps, her face smudged, the cottage a silent witness to her toil. Birds chirp, their melodies a stark contrast to her somber task. From above, the sneering faces of her stepmother and stepsisters watch, their eyes filled with disdain. The morning sun casts long shadows, amplifying the stark loneliness of Cinderella's world. Cinderella toils, scrubbing the worn floor, her beauty dimmed by endless chores in the humble cottage kitchen. Drusilla and Anastasia lounge nearby, their vanity a stark contrast to Cinderella's weary diligence. They whisper with disdain, their eyes following Cinderella's every move with cruel amusement. Lady Tremaine sweeps in, her oppressive presence instantly dominating the room. "Cinderella, is that floor clean yet?" Lady Tremaine demands. "The prince's ball is tonight." Soft lamplight bathes the cottage as Cinderella toils, mending her stepsister's dresses with meticulous care. "That seam is crooked," one stepsister scolds, her voice sharp, as the other demands, "Find something finer, Cinderella." Cinderella's gaze drifts to her own worn dress, a silent contrast to the opulent gowns before her. The weight of their demands hangs heavy in the air, a stark reminder of her servitude. In the bustling town square, a royal herald, radiant in royal colors, claims the makeshift stage, scroll in hand. His voice booms, cutting through the crowd. Hear ye, a grand ball shall be held at the royal palace." The herald proclaims the prince's quest. The prince seeks a bride of true character and virtue. At the edge of the crowd, Cinderella watches, her face shadowed by a shawl. A flicker of hope ignites in Cinderella's eyes as she listens to the herald's proclamation. Inside the cozy cottage, candlelight flickers, casting long shadows as Drusilla and Anastasia, adorned in elaborate gowns, preen before a mirror. Their reflections shimmer, a vision of vanity under Lady Tremaine's watchful eye, as she fusses over every detail. Unnoticed in the flurry, Cinderella kneels on the cold floor, a stark contrast to her stepsister's opulence. Silently, she cleans up the mess of discarded ribbons and fabric scraps, her movements practiced and weary. The weight of her unseen labor adds to the poignant tableau of injustice and servitude. In the warm glow, a silent story unfolds, a tale of beauty, envy, and quiet resilience. Cinderella sits alone in her dimly lit room, a silhouette of sorrow against the cold stone walls. Her fingers trace the faded image of her mother, a tangible memory in the quiet darkness. Tears stream down her face, each drop reflecting the moon's glow, a silent testament to years of unspoken grief. Lost in reverie, she envisions the grand ballroom, a world of swirling gowns and enchanting melodies. The dream shimmers, a fleeting escape from her solitude, a whisper of hope in the lonely night. Cinderella's room is suddenly awash in an ethereal, shimmering light. A figure begins to materialize, coalescing from the radiant glow. Before Cinderella, the fairy godmother appears, her presence both comforting and awe-inspiring. Her eyes twinkle with an otherworldly warmth, promising hope. Magic dances around her, a beacon in the quiet room. The air crackles with unseen energy, signaling a night of transformation. In Cinderella's humble room, the fairy godmother's eyes twinkle with magic as she raises her wand. A shimmering flash engulfs a simple pumpkin, transforming it into a majestic carriage of dreams, trimmed in gold. "My start," then morph into elegant white horses, their manes flowing like silken rivers in the enchanted air. Cinderella's rags ripple, shimmering as they transform into a breathtaking gown of silk and lace, a vision of elegance. Candlelight paints Cinderella's room in a warm glow, casting long shadows that dance with the unspoken anxieties of the night. The fairy godmother's eyes, pools of ancient wisdom, search Cinderella's face for a hint of understanding. "Remember, child," the fairy godmother whispers, her voice laced with urgency. "The magic will end at midnight." Cinderella's youthful hope shines, a fragile promise offered in the face of looming enchantment. "I promise to return before then." The soft glow of the candle flickers, casting dancing shadows that mirror the ephemeral nature of dreams and fairy tales. At the royal palace, Cinderella's carriage arrives in a swirl of anticipation, its polished wood gleaming under the watchful stars. The palace doors swing open wide, revealing a glimpse of the glittering ballroom and the promise of a magical night. Cinderella steps out, radiant and transformed, her gown shimmering like captured moonlight with every graceful movement. Her ethereal beauty captivates, a vision of elegance and grace amidst the palace's grandeur. From the shadows, her step-family observes, their eyes narrowed with envy and a complete lack of recognition. Unseen, unknown, Cinderella embarks on her enchanted evening, a destiny waiting to unfold. The grand ballroom glitters, its chandeliers casting a warm glow on the elegantly dressed guests below. The polished floor reflects swirling gowns as dancers glide effortlessly across its surface. Near the throne, the prince observes the endless procession, his expression a mask of boredom. Suddenly, his gaze is ensnared by a vision as Cinderella enters the room, radiant and ethereal. Time seems to stop as the prince is utterly captivated by her unparalleled beauty and grace. His eyes, once dull with indifference, now sparkle with newfound interest and fascination. In the grand ballroom, the prince approaches Cinderella, her radiant gown shimmering under the soft light. At the ballroom's heart, they begin to dance, their movements graceful and synchronized. The music swells, lights dim, casting a magical spell that isolates them from the bustling crowd. Kindness and shared dreams weave through their dance, each glance hinting at unspoken emotions. The world fades, leaving only the prince and Cinderella, connected by a profound, silent understanding. In the grand ballroom, Lady Tremaine watches with barely concealed envy. Her daughters, faces twisted with disbelief, fixate on Cinderella. Cinderella and the prince dance. Oblivious to the venomous stares, the couple glides, their joy a stark contrast to the Tremaine family's bitterness. Beneath the ballroom's soft glow, Cinderella and the prince share light-hearted stories, their laughter echoing softly. Each glance deepens their connection, weaving a tapestry of shared joy and unspoken affection. Their whispered words create an intimate haven amidst the royal grandeur. The chandeliers cast a spell, illuminating their growing bond with each passing moment. In this magical space, their hearts intertwine, promising a future filled with shared dreams. The grand clock begins its midnight chime, the sound resonating through the opulent ballroom. Each echoing strike heightens the tension, a stark countdown in the glittering space. Cinderella's eyes widen, reflecting the chandelier's light with dawning alarm. A surge of panic washes over her face as the final chime fades, sealing her fate. In the grand ballroom, Cinderella breaks away from the prince, her movements abrupt and desperate. Her eyes, wide with panic, dart around the room, reflecting the glittering chandeliers and masked faces. Regret etches across her face as the magical spell begins to fade, threatening her enchanting disguise. "I'm so sorry. I must go," she cries, her voice a desperate whisper cutting through the music. She turns and flees, leaving the prince stunned amidst the swirling gowns and courtly intrigue. Cinderella flees down the grand palace stairs, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. Her delicate glass slipper catches on the edge of a step, the sound of shattering hope echoing in the night. She stumbles, but her momentum carries her forward, leaving the sparkling shoe behind as a silent testament. The abandoned glass slipper glistens under the moonlight, a fragile symbol of a fleeting dream. Unaware, Cinderella disappears into the darkness, leaving the magic behind as dawn approaches. In the grand ballroom, the prince kneels, the delicate glass slipper gleaming in his hand. Its shimmering surface catches the fading light, a fragile echo of a magical night. He clutches the slipper tightly, determination hardening his youthful features. His voice rings with royal resolve. "I vow to find the woman whose foot this slipper fits. I will search every corner of the kingdom if I must," he declares, a promise echoing in the silent ballroom. Days later, a lone herald threads through the town, the prince's colors stark against the humble dwellings. His weary face reflects a mission of desperate hope as he approaches each door. Upon a velvet cushion, he carries a single glass slipper, its delicate form gleaming in the sunlight. The glass slipper is a fragile symbol of lost enchantment and urgent quest. Each step echoes with the weight of unfulfilled promise, the herald's determination unwavering. Inside the cottage, Drusilla and Anastasia strain, their faces red as they struggle to force their feet into the glass slipper. The slipper remains stubbornly small, mocking their desperate attempts. Anastasia grits her teeth, her brow furrowed in furious concentration, but the glass refuses to yield. Drusilla pulls back, defeated, the slipper reflecting her distorted, unhappy face. Lady Tremaine watches with a darkening gaze, her composure barely masking her mounting frustration. A storm of thwarted ambition brews behind her eyes as she witnesses their repeated failures. Cinderella is trapped, her hope dwindling within the confines of her room. Tiny paws and twitching whiskers emerge from under the door, a silent promise of freedom. The loyal mice work tirelessly, their efforts echoing in the quiet room. With a final click, the door swings open, hope flooding back into Cinderella's eyes. She rushes out, a determined glint in her eyes, her bare feet pounding against the wooden steps. The sounds of farewell drift up from below, urging her to hasten her desperate escape. Cinderella arrives at the cottage, a beacon of grace amidst humble surrounding. Recognition sparks in the prince's eyes as he beholds Cinderella. With infinite gentleness, the prince retrieves the delicate slipper. He slides the glass slipper onto Cinderella's foot. A perfect, destined fit. A collective gasp fills the room as fate seals their destinies together. In the humble cottage, Lady Tremaine and her daughters kneel, their faces a mask of desperation and regret. Their hands are clasped tight, silent pleas escaping from trembling lips. "Please, Cinderella, forgive us," Lady Tremaine cries, her voice cracking with remorse. Anastasia sobs. "We were wrong." Cinderella's gaze softens, understanding washing over her. "I forgive you," she whispers, her voice filled with compassion. Sunlight bathes the royal palace as a carriage awaits, ready to carry Cinderella and the prince to their new beginning. Cinderella, radiant with joy, steps into the carriage, her eyes sparkling with dreams of a future filled with love. Beside her, the prince offers a loving glance, a promise of devotion etched on his noble features. With a final wave to the cheering crowds, the carriage departs, embarking on a journey of shared destiny. Bathed in sunlight, Cinderella and the prince wander hand in hand through the palace gardens, a haven of peace and beauty. Her flowing gown ripples gently in the soft breeze, mirroring the gentle rhythm of their shared steps. His eyes reflect the warmth and security he has found in her kind spirit. Around them, vibrant flowers bloom, a testament to the love that blossoms between them. Their laughter echoes softly, blending with the sweet melody of birdsong that fills the air. Their love stands as a beacon of hope, a fairy tale made real in the heart of the palace gardens.